So this is our latest Bullnose Mini Cruiser, and the whole purpose of these boards is to come up with something, you know, as light and portable as we can make it. And that's why we're going with this stringer design, because by only having the thickness where we need it, we're able to reduce some weight on the board. And this thing is super lightweight. We were hoping to be able to use some hardwood flooring for this stringer, and that's really appealing, because they're in a factory where they're making hardwood flooring. They're able to put a really super awesome finish on the top of the flooring, and that would be really great to have on the bottom of your board. It's like an aluminum oxide finish, so it's harder than steel. A really awesome finish, but we're just not having as much luck with that as I was hoping for, and part of the reason is how much kick we're putting on the tail there. So that's not looking as hopeful as it has been, but it's still something that we're trying to work on. But what we are making a lot more progress with is this fabric grip. So the idea with the fabric grip is, first of all, it just looks really cool. It allows us to have a lot more, explore a lot more with the design on the top of the deck in terms of aesthetic. But the functional reason is because of the fact that this fabric grip won't chew up your stuff. So you can throw this board in a backpack. You can have it, you know, rubbing against your clothes. You can stick it, you know, on the backpack like this. And then you can have it being held by your backpack. That's one idea, you know, and it's not going to chew up your back like a normal board would with normal grip. We also made the earlier video with the whole belt clip idea, and I still think the belt clip is really awesome to be able to just hook it on your side. It actually contours really well and is pretty comfortable if you put it at the right spot. So we really are wanting to make this fabric grip work, and we went to the thrift store and bought a whole bunch of different pieces to try. So this is, any guesses what this is from? This is the sleeves of a dress shirt that we've cut off and made. We made one test that failed from the right arm and a test that we're still testing with the left arm. So we grabbed a bunch of different clothes to have a bunch of different material and colors and stuff to test. So we've got this green Hawaiian shirt looking thing. This is pretty sweet. We've got, this is really cool. A design like this. That'd make a cool fabric. And then we wanted to try some flannel to see if that would hold up. Flannel might be a more interesting grip if it was able to take the abuse. But anyway, so we've got plenty of fabric now that's interesting to run lots of tests on, and so far we're having trouble finding some glue that's working really well. So on the previous board we had the denim grip, and the denim had the advantage of being thick enough to where we could use our spray adhesive, you know, spray glue, and spray directly on, you know, the back of the fabric, and then spray on the board, and then stick them together, you know. But the issue we're having with any of these other stuff is that it's too thin, and our spray glue, it bleeds through. So yeah, so that's the big issue we've been having to battle. And so this here is actually just yellow wood glue, and you can see how it's become saturated and how much the color has changed. So that's less ideal. It is yellow wood glue, and it would probably look a lot better with just white wood glue, but you can see it's become all splotchy. It's pretty subtle, but there's definitely not an evenness. But it does feel pretty good. So there is wood glues that are really, really waterproof. That should work pretty well for this, if we're okay with it saturating the fabric and then discoloring it a little bit. The other option we haven't yet tested, which I'm hoping will be viable, is going to be wallpaper adhesive. Because wallpaper adhesive is, of course, designed to be backed onto the fabric wallpapers. The hiccup I think we might have there is I'm not sure if any of these wallpaper adhesives are waterproof enough. But, so those are basically the last two options we're exploring. So I just wanted to show this off and show where we're trying to go with this, and see if we can get any more feedback from you guys about where this maybe should go. So something someone mentioned in the previous video was adding wheel wells to this board, and I think that's a pretty sweet idea. I think I'm gonna pursue that. It's not as necessary on a stringer design because the stringer acts kind of like a riser, and as long as you've got some concave going on, concave is kind of like a full-length wheel flare. So because of all that, I think the actual flare would be pretty subtle of what we'd need. And also, this board's small, so you're trying to use the whole foot platform. So I wouldn't want it to be anything more than you could just feel, to help you, know where your foot is. But any more than that, would be too much. So, but I'm going to explore that, and I'm going to model that. I think that'll be sweet, having just really, really subtle wheel flares on this. So this was pressed up with the press we made. In fact, I'm going to go, and we'll take a look at it right now. So that board was made in this press, which is not the one I modeled up. This is just the trial handmade one. And it's a kind of janky setup. So instead of having an entire top mold, we just have a top rail, and we're letting the flex of the wood kind of create the downward pressure for getting the concave going. And obviously that has some limitations in terms of having a nice reliable glue seam. But for pressing out, I think we've made 3 boards with this so far. Just for pressing out a couple prototypes, this works really, really good. So on the version that I've 3D modeled, I've reduced the rocker a bit. You can see how much rocker that board has by just looking at this profile here. It's quite a lot. Reduced the rocker by a little bit, and I added a little bit more concave. And I'm hoping that makes it a little bit more of a pleasant shape, because this much rocker on such a small board is a little bit on the extreme side. But I have to say, it is pretty comfortable to ride. It's less comfortable to push, but it's still all right. Anyway, I'm looking forward to getting this redesigned for that CNC mold. It should really do a much better job. Until then, that's where we're at for this Bullnose Mini Cruiser project. So, Longboard Technology, over and out.